Good morning. How are we doing? What's going on? We're back. That's not what's playing right now. Let's hide that for now. How's everyone doing? All right. So, yeah, we're here with our second stream in 24 hours. I'm sleepy. And we're going to be finishing up the list of submissions for this month, last month's, the most recent song feedback stream. What's up, Lopal? So, yeah, I've got 55 songs to get through. I went back and personally checked through the entire channel by hand, making sure I had gotten to everyone at least once. If you submitted multiple songs, I may not get to both those songs. I think I did just the most recent one you submitted or the first one. Either way, I just did one. Going forward, I think we're going to do some kind of lottery system or something to make it so these aren't literally 6 hours of submissions every month, you know? So I'm going to figure out something to make it fair, make it so everyone has a good chance, and we'll figure that out. We'll workshop that in the Discord. But for this month, I got to everyone once. So, yeah. So, and if I don't get to you today, let me know. If you submitted one and in the Song Challenge Discord and I did not get to it, let me know. But for today, actually, I'm going to drop a list of everyone who we're getting to today. If anyone wants to make sure they're on it, here is everyone we're getting to. It's going to be a very long list in chat. Oh no, that's a crazy list. Oh well, good luck. Oh, it's way too many characters. Here, I'll just bring it up in Notepad on screen. Here's everyone we're getting to today. I'm just going to slowly scroll through it. And like I said, for next time, there will be more of a lottery situation. So yeah, that's what we got. It's a comically long list. It's about half the length of last time. And yeah, I'm just going to pin a message to say submissions are closed for this month. But that's okay. Y'all can get in on the next one. Let's get right into it without further ado. First up, we have... How did I do this last time? Lemon Sprite with boss music type stuff. Now let's take a listen. This is like Sonic 3 Final Boss. Big arms vibes. I like this. I like where it's going. Oh, I wanted it to hit something. That's a great build-up for something. That is such a cool start, Lemon Sprite. I want to hear where that goes. I hear that opening up into a huge, epic metal thing. That'd be so sick. Cool, cool. I love it. Good work on that. Good, start for a vibe. Next up, we got Classic Console 13 with Worthy of This World. Nice strings. Some Undertale vibes. Just in the composition, not really in the sound. Where's this going? Ooh. We got live guitars on this one. Okay, Classic Console. Vocals. Yeah. Okay. So real quick, I want to say, awesome job recording live vocals, live guitars. That is never, ever, ever easy to do, and you're doing a great job with it. Something to focus on, things to work on here. I think your mix is actually in a good spot. I think your mix is heading in the right direction, and you're doing a good job with that. Things to focus on here are keeping your guitar in rock solid tuning, making sure you are literally tuning your guitar every single take. In between each take, you go back to the tuner, you make sure you're perfect. The other thing is making sure your intonation while you play is good. A lot of people don't realize this, but when you play a guitar, you have to, the video broadcast really hates the look of guitars. It's going to try to cut it out. When you play, I'm going to turn that off for a second. Okay. When you play a guitar, you press your finger down on a note to make the sound, to set up the sound, and then you pick it with your other hand, right? That's what we're working with here. The thing is, there's a lot of care you have to put into what you do with that left hand. If you press down too hard, it'll go sharp. It'll go from being ba to like ba, you know? You can go out of tune by pressing too hard with your hand. And if you're unintentionally bending a little bit, it can go too high as well. So you've got to really take care to make sure you're playing in tune with the guitar. And you can do this literally by pulling up a tuner and playing your part one note at a time and making sure it's staying right in the middle. If you play a note and it goes sharp, you got to look at your hand and go, okay, am I pushing too far? Am I not pushing far enough? What's going on here? Lopo, I'm going to take a listen to it later today. And the same goes for singing, Classic Console. Like, you're doing a great job. And now just keep working on your intonation. Keep working on singing in key, right on the beat, right on the note. Something that helps a lot with this, believe it or not, is I feel like I'm out of focus. There we go. Something that helps with this a lot, believe it or not, is autotune, and not for the reason you think. Like, yeah, absolutely, autotune will help your song sound better. But also, if you've ever watched me tune something, you see my vocals come into the program, and you can see the line of where my vocals are. Seeing that line and seeing, oh man, when I sing that, I go sharp on this note. You can see physically your pitch, and it teaches you to sing better by seeing the exact way your voice is reacting. So I highly recommend taking time, at the very least, with a tuner and double-checking your intonation when you're playing guitar, tuning between each take, and double-checking your intonation when you're singing and when you're practicing those vocals. Also, I always recommend checking out Chris Lipe's channel, Liepe. He's the dude who, like, more than anything else, has made a huge difference in my singing and everything, as well as the voice teacher he set me up with, Lucas Magyar. What time is it by me, Tara? It's like late morning, like 10 a.m. Yeah. So great job on that, Classic Console. Those would be the things I would work on for you. Next up, we have Faya with Wistful Night. Cool. I like that it opened up there. That's great. Up until that point, I was a little concerned about the mix. I think vocals still might be a bit far forward. It's hard to hear the drums, so I can't really comment on how they're played. I like that slide. You got good composition here. I think you could leave space in your vocals. This is something I feel about a lot of Friday Night Funkin' vocals. There's no rests, ever. It's non-stop notes. No one sings like that. No one plays like that. Only in Friday Night Funkin' does that happen. I would love to hear some space in some of these vocals, because music is just about the space, just as much about the space, the notes you don't play, as the ones you do. It's good. It's very good. I think you could spend some time with the mix, bringing the instrumental a little more far forward, using EQ to cut out some space for the vocal within the instrumental, so that right now it's like you have a vocal here and then the instrumental back here, right? Because if you bring up the instrumental here, it's going to obscure the vocal. So what you need to do is use an EQ to carve out some space in that instrumental. So it's not like this, it's like this. And then it can come and just cup right around the vocal. That's what you want. You want your vocal and your instrumental to fit right around each other, so you can push them all the way forward with a huge, powerful limiter so it gets loud. Classic console. It's okay. You could send one next month. But good stuff. I like the composition. I like everything. I think you could leave more space in your melodies. Next up, we got Gracie Nader 14 with Final Horizon. I like the piano line. This is cool. Drums and piano so far. I'd like to hear some other instruments come in around this to support it soon. Okay. Oh, there. There's a couple things I'm hearing. The piano is like kind of suggesting a chord, right? It's arpeggiating the ba-da-da-da-da-da. It's arpeggiating these notes of a chord, right? And because it's arpeggiating a chord, there is a chord progression. And therefore, your vocals should really be working with that chord progression. Like I've said in my How to Write Friday Night Funkin' music stream, like I've said many times on other music writing streams, and like I've said in Quick Start Music, Intro to Music Production, where I teach you how to write catchy melodies every single time. You've got to follow your chord tones in the melody. You've got to, if there's a chord playing a C major chord, C, E, G, then you want to focus on C's, E's, and G's in your melody. You can work around them, and I teach how to do that in the course, but you want to focus on those notes. And if you play something off of one of those notes, it can sound a little sour, which is what some of the notes in this melody do. Yeah, these long stretches where it's just piano, it's cool. I'd love to hear some bass in there, filling things up. Same thing goes here with the mix as I was talking about last time. You want to carve space out of those guitars so they can come further forward and really just envelop the vocals. You really want to build a nice bed in your instrumental and then make a space in the middle for your vocals to drop right into. But that's sounding cool. Good stuff there, Gracie Nader. Next up is Lieutenant Mask with 0 Hour. Let's take a listen. Okay, notes are not agreeing with each other. Yeah, none of these. I like your instrumentation choice. I like the vibe. But none of these notes agree with each other, right? We're also kind of dealing with this monotonous, repetitive situation. Maybe you're not really thinking about song structure in terms of like verse, chorus, or A section, B section, right? Where's this going? What's the purpose of this section? Why has it gone on for 40 seconds already? Does it go? Okay, the part changed a little. I don't think the part changed enough to warrant that being a new section. So song sections, right? You have your verse, you have your chorus. In Friday Night Funkin' songs, it's sometimes a little messier than that. You can think of them more as like an A section, B section, C section, and so on. And in those, in creating those sections, you want to have enough contrast between them that they still sound like the same song, but you want them to feel really different. You want it to feel like, oh, we just went into like, it's like you're walking through a house and you just went into a new room and things are different in here. It's still the same house, you're still in the same location, but things are different here. So you want to create that contrast, and you could do that by really changing the chord progression, by changing up some of the instrumentation, either adding or switching out an instrument. I'll usually switch to like bigger distorted guitar parts in the chorus of a song, and then go back to like quieter palm muted, like chun, 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 kind of parts for the verse. And you can build and release this tension. That's the whole goal of music, is to build and release tension. But that was kind of a minute straight of just tension, and I never got satisfaction from it. It's like a roller coaster that only goes up and then it's over, you know? Next up, we have Proton. I don't mean to sound harsh on that, Lieutenant Mask. I'm like, great job crafting a song. Literally just making any sound at all is a huge, huge achievement. So if I ever give criticism on here without any like positive stuff, know that I'm proud of you just for making and submitting a song and putting it out there, because that is more than 99% of people ever do. Next up, we have Proton with Drive Into the Waves. Funky. Good synthwave vibes. Sick. Okay, so yeah, you've got the composition here. I think maybe in the arrangement, the relationship between that bass, the boom 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 boom, and then the higher synth playing that same part, ba, 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 ba. I think maybe it's a little weird how locked together they are, and I'm gonna get real nitpicky here. What's bugging me about it is the bass has no release time on it. It's just like bop 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 bop. It's a hard stop at the end of the note, but the melody is like ba 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 ba. It's got a longer release, and so it feels like disjointed, where the bass is this hard, solid thing, and the melody's floating more, but they're playing the same part. And it's that in-between point of, yeah, there's contrast in the tone, there's contrast in the pitch, but that difference in the envelope of it, the release time, is a little it's a little odd. I would shorten that release on the lead so it can be like hard and like ba 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 ba. Beyond that, I think it's a bit of mixing stuff, and again, trying to carve out space within. There's no guitars in this, but there is that big synth pad in the background, right? And being able to separate the space from the bass, the melody, the background, the drums, letting them separate where they need to be separated and glued together where they need to be glued. Check out the Quick Start Music channel video on EQ for that one. That goes a really long way towards helping you do that. Highly recommend it. Next up, we have the Black Ribbon with, I'm going to butcher this, Querubim? Cherubim? I don't know. Sounds cool. Let's hear it. Pretty string part. I like this. Slow build here. Little bit of a clash in that low register. So we've got two notes happening here. We've got ba and ba. Ba is coming from those strings down there. Ba. And then ba from the guitar playing da na 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 na. That part, right? And here's the thing is that you can get away with dissonance, clashing in higher registers. Like, take a listen. I'm going to pull up a piano real quick. Okay, so here's our part, right? And when you play two notes next to each other in a chord, if they're high up in the higher notes, you can get away with it. Take a listen. So if I play like an F minor 7 chord, it sounds cool, even though these two notes are next to each other, right? But lower registers, you cannot get away with notes being close together. There is just not enough like frequency space to go around, because these two notes are only like 5 hertz apart. Hertz is the measurement of like the exact pitch of a note, the frequency. Whereas these notes are like hundreds, if not thousands of hertz apart. Because as you go higher, it's what they call a logarithmic scale. It gets bigger and bigger as it goes. So while the step between two notes, that might be like 76 hertz to 79 hertz or something. This could be like 700 hertz to 900 hertz, you know? Big difference. So when you have that guitar part going and this cello part beyond it going, it doesn't quite work, and I'd be really careful about putting low notes that clash with each other down there. I really like the concept of that pedal tone in the guitar. It's called a pedal tone when one instrument just holds one note as stuff changes around. It can sound really cool, like if you're doing like... You know? You can get away with a lot of stuff if you move that dissonance up. Cool. Let's see where else this goes. I'm gonna skip ahead. Yeah, this is very atmospheric. I would love to hear more sections in this. I mean, this is 6 minutes long. Oh yeah, there we go. That's different. Okay, so when you have stuff like this, let's hear that organ part. Check this out. This is important. So we have this organ part come in first. In a totally different key than we've been playing, which is kind of weird. Yes, exactly, Daniel. Okay. Okay, so when you have, this is really counterpoint is what it is. This is like classical, straight up counterpoint. Is two notes interacting with each other to imply chords. And what we start with is this E flat. It's just two E flats playing together. And that's cool. We've been playing in the key of E flat minor, going, just walking down that E flat minor chord, right? But then we do this. Once you introduce that higher melody, that ba, that thing, bass moves down to a D flat, and you'd think the melody would too, right? And that could be cool. Or the melody could go up to fill in the next note of a D flat major chord. That'd be cool. And you could keep going up the scale. You know, you could do a lot with that. But you start stepping outside the scale. You're doing... And we're just like, if you're going to write multiple notes at once, you got to be thinking about a chord progression. You really got to be. Because that could have just as easily been... You know, like you can imply a chord progression doing that cool counterpoint stuff, but you got to be thinking about a chord progression. And I see really often people just kind of writing notes to write notes, and you've really got to be thinking from the compositional perspective of it. Cool stuff, Black Ribbon. I like the vibes. Just consider more of what's going on in the harmony. Next up, we've got Beanie Bopper with DDV Jesse's song. Okay. I like this. I like this. I think from a mixing perspective, there's some stuff you could work on, but this is cool. Even got a little instrumental section in here. This is nice. Oh, I want more. I was ready for more. Yeah, like, you've got good stuff here. This is great. This is a mixing thing. This feels a little overwhelmed in the low mid-range. Those drums feel a little harsh, the highs. But overall, it's pretty cool. Yeah, great. I think just spending some time with the mix would go a long way. That's great. Next up, we got Hot Cake in a Box with Minami. Having trouble downloading these links. Ooh. I want to hear this again from the start. This is beautiful. Hang on. Yo. Live guitar, hell yeah. Ooh, that's my favorite chord change. There's like vague J-rock vibes in here. This is cool. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful piece, Hotcake. Let's talk about arrangement and polish. Polish is, and it's something I'm dropping a course on Quick Start Music in a month or two. Polish is that last bit of the process. I'd say in order, you've got like, first you write the song, right? Then you arrange it. You figure out, okay, I've got all these notes, and I'm going to figure out what instruments are playing what. Drums are going to play this. Bass is going to play that. Melody's got this. Here's the chord progression, all that stuff. That's your arrangement, figuring out who's playing what, who's doing what specifically. And then you record it, right? You record all your parts, and then you got to polish it. You got to take the time to really sit through, and you'll watch me do it. I did a little bit of it with vocals last night on stream. And it's just going through every track, and man, it takes forever. It's going through every track and taking a look at, okay, are all my hits on time? You know? And it's okay if it's not perfect, especially if you're not going for like a super hard grid kind of style like I do. If you're going for something a little more loose and live, that's fine. But you want to make sure at least your big hits are together. So taking a listen to like these hits here. Like, that's solid. Like, that bass is a little loose there. And the melody, those bends, maybe you're not hitting that tone quite accurately. So it takes time with a tuner again, and really make sure you're bending to exactly the note you want to. And yeah, Manny said, or Juhin said, most of the criticism comes down to mixing, EQ, and arrangement. That's because that's what most of it is. That's really like, that's the hard part, you know? And that's what I'm trying to cover on Quick Start Music most of all. Once you learn EQ and mixing, and if you really study arrangement by looking at the songs you love, and I do really encourage people. I got a lot of heat on Twitter for a tweet I made that was like, for the love of God, please listen to something other than Friday Night Funkin' music, because, and this has nothing to do with you, Hotcake, because you're killing this. This sounds amazing. But like, the reason I tweeted that, the reason I said please listen to something other than Friday Night Funkin', is because you need to hear what like top tier production sounds like, what the standard out there in the real world is, not because it's I don't know, not because it's bad if you don't sound like that, but just to know that like, oh man, music can sound that polished, that huge, that full and beautiful. And when you're in a scene that's primarily populated by new producers or producers in a specific style, you know, you hear a ton of breakcore, you hear a ton of Genesis chiptune ripoffs of Marstar Bro, you know, everyone just wants to sound like Mar, and it becomes this cycle of newer users learning from other newer users, and that's great, that's fine, it's wonderful that this scene supports everyone, but you want to get some of that input from everywhere else. It'd be like if, you know, there was a small football team at a school and all they ever did was, you know, play football with each other, and they'd never seen professional football play before. They didn't even know you could really play football outside of this field, you know? And they'd probably be fine at it. They'd probably get pretty good. But then they'd go see, like, you know, a professional football game and go, oh my God, I didn't know you could run that fast. I didn't know you could throw that far. I didn't know you could kick that accurately, you know? And the same thing goes for listening to professionally produced music by the absolute top tier people out there in every genre, exposing yourself to every angle of it that you can. You want to see the best of the best, so you have higher to reach for, at least. That's my opinion. Minami, this sounds awesome. Your next step is working on mixing and really polishing your guitar parts to make sure they are always right in tune. Your intonation on your bends is dead on. And making sure hits like this. I want to talk about this hit. Take a listen. You get jump scared by those guitars there, but the drums don't agree with it. The drums are coming in quiet. Dun, 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 right? The drums are building. And so the guitars should be building too. Dun, 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 dun. But they just come in full blast. So it's like the guitars are here and the drums are like, I'm coming. I'm on my way. Don't worry. So you want to make sure if you come in with a huge hit, everyone agrees on it. And if you're building, everyone agrees on that too. Your whole band needs to be on the same page as far as how intense you should be at the moment. Next up, we got It's Dan. That was awesome, Hotcake. Great job. It's Dan with Manu Instrumental 1. Good bass build. Every time you see Manu, it thinks someone typing your name, man. It's like some chill drum and bass. I like this. It's weird that it's kind of left heavy. I'd love to feel some balance in this, something on the other side to offset it. Hopefully that's coming soon. This is nice. I like this. That kick drum's a little loud, if anything. But this is cool. Yeah, Celeste vibes. I like it. Yeah, I think the rest of the instrumental could just come a little more far forward. This is cool. Those drums are just a little hot. I like it. Spend some time learning drum fills. I think some more variety in like the drum fills, you know, would be really cool. Because right now I could see you know like where to put a drum fill and you know what to do with it. And I'd love to hear you have more vocabulary in that drum fill. And you can learn this by literally just watching drum tutorials, like live, real people drummers teaching people how to play drums. And then just apply that to your programming. It's really, really helpful. Cool. That was awesome. Great job on that. It's Dan. Good vibes. I love it. Next up, a Waffle Swag with Inst Work in Progress 2. Excel just freaked out on me. There we go. Ooh. It's like future funk. Yeah. So on a balance thing here, feels like that big future bass, like that big saw chord situation is a little overpowering things. And you had this beautiful acoustic guitar lead. I want to hear that. It's buried back there. I love this chiptune lead. That's so cool. Yeah, I'd love to hear a little more aggression in the bass, maybe. But like, do you hear that guitar? All the way back there. So far back. I think that saw chord is just too loud. This is nice though. I like it. I think you could get into I'm not sure if you're sidechaining anything, but I think that would go a long way towards helping the punchiness of this mix. Just really sidechaining like all your chord instruments, all your bass instruments to the kick drum. So you get that pump effect of like every time that kick hits, you want the whole mix to just like breathe a little. And you can also do this with compression on your master bus. I have a video coming out in a couple weeks on the Quick Start Music channel on using compression on your master bus to help it like breathe more. Again, you want it to feel dynamic and like that loudness is alive. There's a lot you can do with a compressor on the master bus, especially with a slow attack and a slow release. Every time something hits hard, the whole thing will go like, and it's just cool. It's really nice to do. Cool. That sounded sick, Waffle Swag. Awesome stuff. Hey, Ardoff, what's up? Next up, we got Swift Tempo with Quiet and Falling. Spacey. Love it. Yeah, Ardoff, send it over. We'll listen to it. This is beautiful. This is like so spacious. I really like it. Where's it going? Where are we building to? Here comes something. Oh, these tempo drifts are cool. Where's this going? This is beautiful. This tempo is really moving. one's charting this one. We're just going to listen to it a little more because this is a very long song. I just want to see where it hits. Yeah. Oh. There's something to be said for a really restrained piece like this that doesn't, like, hit crazy hard when it comes through. But it's really nice. I would have loved to hear those drums be a little harder, but this is coming down to, like, what I would do personally, and that's just personal taste. That's not like an objective judgment on the job you did. That is so sick, Swift Tempo. That's really nice. That's from Celeste, isn't it? Right? That's a Lena Rain piece. Next we have Nonexia with, oh, it's not showing that. It's in funky letters. It's Nonexia. Nonexia business. And we have Exegetic from them. Classic Friday Funkin' vibes. The Cubans. Manny. Okay, so this is Sonic something, right? Yeah, it's solid. I feel like drums are kind of far back. I like it, though. I like that guitar doubling Sonic.exe's voice. Yeah. Of course, you gotta do it. Is Pico here? Thought I heard Pico for a second. Yeah, it's sounding sick. Good stuff. Again, it's mixing. It's always mixing. Everyone could work on their mixing, myself included. I work on my mixing every single day. I actually take classes on it still. Because there's just always another level to reach. Hello. This is Chara Hawaii with Divergence. Coming right out the gate hot. It's like some hardcore, hard bass. I do think the bass is kind of interfering with the vocals a bit. Like, it's sick. I'm actually working on a hard bass song myself. I like it from a mixing perspective. That bass is interfering with the vocals a lot. I would spend some time EQing that out, maybe rethinking the arrangement a little bit, maybe even rethinking that sound altogether. I really like the vibe. I really like the energy. But you got to consider the intensity and how long you're holding that up, how long a listener can listen to that before they get fatigued. And most importantly, whether you can actually hear the vocals. That's your main concern. Next up, we got Some Guy with Bendy Song. I like these vibes. I wish those snaps were louder. Oh. It crashed. Try again, please. So this one, from a mixing perspective, that bass is loud, everything else is so quiet. I can barely hear it. You definitely want a mastering limiter on here. Get this loud. Good grooves, though. I like it. Yeah, you got to spend some time with the balance. It's cool, though. I love the composition. I love the arrangement. That's all sick. It's literally just volume levels for you. Good stuff. Finny Tea with No More Smooth Groovin'. Good jazzy chords here. That's not what I was expecting after that. Oh. Wish those drums were louder. I like this. Great build up, great like brief drop. So there's builds tension there. I love it. Yeah, I want drums. You know me, I love drums. I'd love to hear more of that melody. Nice piano solo. This does sound kind of like a piano solo from someone who's listened to a lot of Friday Night Funkin'. I would go listen, like check out some like jazz fusion from like the 70s and 80s. Check out Chick Corea and Weather Report and really learn how a piano is played. You don't have to physically learn to play the piano, but you should learn how it's usually performed. And this is the same thing as like people programming drums in ways that drummers don't play. No one would ever play a piano part like that. You'd never hear that. And that's fine. I'm not saying it's wrong or bad, but I do think you should have the knowledge of how it usually is played in there to influence, because you want to be able to speak the language on a broader scale. You want to be able to speak with the vocabulary of the things people have been playing in piano solos for, 100 years. Jojo has ruined someone telling me to live and listen to Weather Report. You should still listen to Weather Report, Coffee. It's amazing. That was sick, though. Good vibes. I just think drums could have been louder, and spend some time checking out like some classic piano solos and melodies. We got Lafor with Play After the Rain. Sounds good, Salamandori. I like this little music box intro. Night, Tara. So this is nice, but we got to think. Are these chords really agreeing with each other? What is this? Right? That kind of thing? So let's hear what chords we're hearing. So here's what I think is happening. I think you're playing a really nice chord progression down here, like, right? And that sounds nice. Here's the thing. When you use a big bell sample like you have, bells have a ton of overtones. So you're not just hearing that bass note. You're actually hearing like these notes too. Like all these other notes are ringing out. And that's what we're hearing. And so what we end up hearing is like, right? So we're losing that chord progression in there. I'd be really careful about using bells that low. And if that's not what's going on, if you actually do have like these chords going on up here, I think they're getting in the way of your chord progression. You want to make sure that the audience can really clearly hear your intent in the chord progression you wrote. And you want to take care to make sure the sounds you select really, really do that. Ardoff, pick one thing. Pick one thing to show. And I'll squeeze you in here. Next up, we got Cali May. Cali May makes some amazing stuff. I know Cali just covered a couple, like, really sick. Oops, that's not the link. That is the link. I didn't want to post the link. There we go. This is an original bendy song that Cali wrote. Let's check it out. So good. We're losing that piano a little bit. It's tough, though. It's tough to mix things with huge, loud guitars. It sounds so good, though.
So run now, run as fast you can. They're after you this far. Join our symphony and run now for eternity. Come now, the fun has just begun. You never knew this place has its history. It's time you feel our misery.
Okay, sick. Cali, this is amazing. I love your songwriting. I love your arranging. Everything's so solid. I have, I think, like 3 points I would make as far as this goes. Someone mentioned once the guitar hits, remove the piano. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I do think, I don't know if it needs to be in the chorus. And this is something I feel about Build Our Machine, too. Like, I think it's really distracting having, you know, this really nice melody, this I am alive, immortalized, you're the you know, you got this going on, and then he's got this, like, this noodly piano line just interfering with that vocal. I do think if you want to keep the piano line going in the chorus, I would simplify it. I would make it much more like chord tone only and really make it much more of a background instrument so it's not stealing thunder from your awesome lead vocals. So that's the first thing. I would like think about where your audience's focus needs to be at any time and make sure you're not pulling that focus in too many different directions and make sure they are drawn to focus on the thing you want them to focus on. Which brings me to my next point. You want them to focus on the vocals. I can't really hear the vocals here. I mean, I can hear them because I know I'm listening for them, but they are kind of further back. Something I started doing recently, and this is what I learned in one of my mixed lessons that I took last year, is I reworked my whole mixing process. I used to mix from the ground up. I used to start with drums, and then I'd do bass, and then guitars, any other instruments, any effects, and then finally I'd put the vocals in, and I'd try to squeeze them in there. And it's kind of like packing a car and packing all the least important stuff first, and then you've got this like beautiful, important vase that you have to keep safe, and you just kind of like have to shove it in there and hope for the best. And that's what happens when we mix vocals last. Is there's no room left for them, and they just kind of end up awkwardly shoved in there. And I did that for so long. Now, I mix drums and then vocals. And once I'm really happy with the balance between those two, I'll bring in guitars, and I'll just bring in enough guitars so I can barely hear them. If you notice, my guitars are so much quieter in my mixes than they used to be. And I really carve them out. I scoop the hell out of the middles so they can really envelop the vocals in a comfortable way. Using reference mixes goes a long, long way as well. So I always have a few songs in there as like, I know I love the mix of this song. It's in the same genre I'm trying to produce. So if I can sound good when compared to this, I'm good. And I'm constantly flipping back and forth between my mix and theirs. I have a video coming on like how to do good referencing in your mixing coming soon. But I think I did a post in the music production Discord. I think I pinned it there in the music production general channel in the Longest Solo Ever Discord. So yeah, that's the order I mix in now. And finally, I think there's something funky going on with your compressor, Cali. I think your kick drum might be triggering the master limiter or master compressor a little too hard. Maybe there's a lot of sub frequencies that we're not necessarily hearing, but they're coming through and they're forcing that compressor to trigger. There's a lot of frequencies that we can't hear. Like if something's 10 hertz, that's like it's like an E flat -2 or whatever. 10 hertz, you can't hear it. It sounds like nothing. You may feel it, but you can't hear it. But that takes up space in your mix. That takes up space in your limiter. It's going to trigger your mastering compressor. That's why you want to high pass just about everything at some point to make sure you're not getting rumble that's adding up in the low end of your mix that you can't even hear. It's not even contributing to your mix. So I would take care to make sure that kick drum is only giving you the frequencies you want to hear from it. Maybe put a low shelf on there and just pull back the low frequencies of that kick a little bit, because I think it's pumping the mix a little too hard and everything feels a little constricted. But obviously, amazing job on that, Cali. That sounds so sick. Next up, we got Sam with Amogus Monochrome Real. I can only imagine where this is going. Not bad. I don't mind this. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's I've never been into that mod's music, I'll be honest. And the vibe of just that like kind of trap that's just a little repetitive, you know. But I think you're doing a good job of it. I do think you could spend a bit more time mixing. The mix felt a little dark, a little muffled, maybe brighten up some of the higher pitched instruments. But sounding cool. Next up, Kerbo with Thingamabob, I think, maybe. Where are we going? Okay, I think that's your bass, right? That's so high for a bass. Bring this down. This is a very top-heavy mix. We're all up here, and there's nothing going on down here. Just gonna fill in. Oh, hey, Sans. Okay, your bass is still so high. Your bass is playing above your guitars. Yeah, I mean, you've got a good start with the composition of it and stuff. I think you need to spend some time really learning where those, like, how the bass should be placed in the mix. And in the arrangement, bringing it down to that lower pitch. And like I said, I think this is a case where you really need to check out like some music outside of Friday Night Funkin' and Undertale like remix scenes and really listen to how like a metal tune is put together. Go check out some Metallica, some Avenged Sevenfold, some Bring Me the Horizon is huge. Linkin Park. I mean, these are all bands that'll show you what a great arrangement sounds like. Next up, we got Blue Cheese with Transmission. Nice start. Okay, yeah, I mean, this is a nice start to composition. You're doing a good job of writing with chord tones, and that's great. I think you could leave space in your melodies, right? Some space there, I like that. This is nice. This is nice. Now, your next step is spending time with arrangement and with song structure. Starting to figure out, like, okay, how can I build and release tension over the course of this song? How can I make these sections feel meaningfully different? Can I do a part 3 later? So I'm just wrapping up the first month's submissions, Neo. I'm going to do a whole nother... I'm going to open up submissions again, and we'll do them again. Probably with some more specific limitations as far as the number of submissions I do. So we're not here for literally like 8 hours. Next up, we have Seek the Sun. Cool. I like it. Something's a little funny, maybe with the drum programming. I think you could spend some time like listening to some more drummers, watching some drum tutorials. I like this though. I love the melody. I love the composition, the arrangement. That's all sick. I love the sounds you're working with. I think you could spend some time mixing the drums. I get the impression you're working with like a default MIDI drum kit, and that's cool. You don't need to spend a ton of money on like huge, expensive drum libraries or anything. There's a lot you can do with those kits to make them sound and play more like those expensive kits. I would spend some time learning to really mix those parts. Maybe even consider separating out the drums from the cymbals so you can mix them separately. Like literally just split the MIDI into 2 different tracks after you finish writing everything so you can mix them separately. This is sick though, that's great. I got like a little bit of, I don't know, Papyrus vibes from that. That was cool. Let's hop over to Ardoff's song. Here is a song he made a few years ago, which has never been released. Let's take a listen. This is Sparkling Stars by Ardoff. I love your style so much, man. Great build. Fake out. This is building and releasing tension. It's all about structure. This is one of those main things that separates like the pros from beginners. Is like structure and really clearly communicating that structure to the listener. Listen, we're building, right? It's going somewhere. Here it comes. Do you hear how he's communicating each change as it comes? You're never surprised by something. You're always excited for a change. That's what you want to do in these songs. You want to hint to the listener that something's coming, and then reward them for being right, or surprise them with something else like the fake out we had earlier. And this isn't just in EDM. You can do this in every genre. Sick. I'd love to hear more low end there. I'd love to really get punched by that bass. But I'm always about like really aggressive bass sounds. I love that you'll build from your drop and go somewhere even bigger. Or fake us out and go down from there. Like it's so good. Every song is like a perfectly crafted roller coaster. That's so sick, Ardoff. Sounding amazing. Sounding so good. Next up is Dillerimane with a remix of Roses. B-side. Okay, there's like cool stuff in here. There's cool stuff texturally. I like the bass you have going there. That like glitchy, fuzzy bass. But at the beginning here, nothing's agreeing with each other at all, right? Like, I really think what makes a song sound heavy is really, like, careful use of contrast and extreme sounds. Like if you listen to Intruder, not to like toot my own freaking horn here, but if you listen to Intruder, when that hits, there's not actually that much going on. There's very little actually happening in Intruder. When this drops, barely any drums. It's literally kick, kick and snare, kick, kick and snare. Then there is the bass, do 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 do. The melody, ba da ba 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 da ba da da. And as far as things that actually happen, that's it. There's like texture and like chords just holding back here, but there's nothing. There's no more information there. But when we have this going on, there's like 8 different things to listen to. One of them, I'm not sure if that's appropriate, but it's a lot. That's all. So just be careful with how much you put in a song. Next up is Frost Sus with Blocks It Up. I'm assuming this is a like Friday Night Blocksin situation. This is pretty. I like it. I love that the other voice is accompanying Boyfriend. You don't hear this enough. I like this a lot. Great chord progression, great melody on it. I'm not personally crazy about those drum samples, but that is, again, a personal thing. This is a well-crafted song. This is good. Awesome work for us, Sus. Alex asked, does a song need to have some sort of melody, or can it be fine without one? Songs can be fine without a melody, but they should have some meaningful, like, star of the song, you know? And there's plenty of songs that don't have melodies. There's songs that are just like piano grooves and stuff, but there's still a thing you could sing. It may not be a It may not be a literal melody, but it's like a thing you could sing. You know that song that goes, and you could do the thing. It needs to have that. It needs to have something with a focus on it in the song. Something that changes meaningfully throughout the song. Yeah. Next up, Salamandori with Coral Keep. Okay, Ardoff, sounds good. This is cool. Yo, Bunny Man, thanks for joining. Thank you for joining memberships, Bunny Man. You rock. Okay. That's a cool section change. This is cool. It's, I guess if I'm thinking of it from like an 8-bit composition perspective. Go back. And this comes down to, like, there is nothing really fundamentally wrong that I can point to with this. I can't say, like, your chord progression's out of key or anything like that. It's, I think it comes down to, I don't know what I'm supposed to focus on in this song. When a song plays, you know where your ear is drawn to something. The job of the arranger and the mixer is to take your ear and go, hey, this is what you should be focusing on right now. And now go over here and listen to this thing. And then back over here. Like, this song, it's all just kind of there. And I would love more. That bass and that melody are so up front, while this bum, 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 bum is back here. I think it's the fact that the bass and melody are playing the same thing the whole time. I very rarely like that. I don't think bass and melody should be locked together pretty much any time, because it either means your bass is going to have nothing to do with your chord progression, or your melody is going to be locked to just the root of your chord progression at all times, and that's boring. 2OP said, Ad Infinitum by the Stupendium is a solid song, but he doesn't follow either of those rules. He does, though. The star of the song is his melody. It is his rapping for that, right? Look at you, right there, right there. That's the star. That's the. It's not a melody. It's rapping, but it's the lead, right? And yeah, do Friday Night Funkin' vocals count as melody? Absolutely. And like, okay, so the description I gave of a melody in Quick Start Music was specifically, I don't remember. It was, we're going to pop into Quick Start Music for a second so I can see it. It's a series of musical notes with both rhythm and pitch. It's the tune that gets stuck in your head after you're listening to a song. This is Quick Start Music, by the way. This is Music 101, the first course you'll see. And you can see it's just got a video lesson for each one, as well as written lessons for each. It's not all about writing sheet music. A lot of it is really just about like the basic fundamentals of music stuff you need to know. But not every song needs a physical melody. Obviously, there's tons of amazing hip-hop out there that is just rapping. That's not a literal melody you could write out on sheet music. But there's still a focus in the song, right? There's still something your ear is drawn right to, the main thing you're supposed to focus on. The same thing goes for Stupendium. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry if I misgendered Stupendium. I didn't mean to. I am very aware that they're non-binary. Next up is Reina with Chaotic Funny Fixed.
Thank
This is cool. I like this. I think vocals might be a little loud, but this is very cool. I want to hear another section come in. I want to hear something different. Cool. I notice everything's kind of hanging around the tonic of the key, the one, right? Ba, ba. Every chord progression starts and ends there, right? I'd love to hear something go somewhere different. Does it? Nope. So when you're writing a song, you know, when you're writing a song, you're in a key, right? This song's in the key of C minor. You know, that kind of thing. And that's cool, but when all your sections hang out there, it gets a little... You're missing out on some colors you could be working with. Because if you're hanging out here for a while and then you hear... There's just so many other chords to work with. If you start a section in a different chord, it brings you to a whole different place. So I highly recommend starting each section. You don't have to start every section with a different chord, but at least start one of your sections with a different chord than the others. Next up is Shaiji with Boinger, but for real, finished. I see we have the same naming convention. Final, final, two, final. I love this chromatic. Manny, I actually don't recognize what that riff is from. What was it from? This is fun. I need percussion. I need something. Composition's great. This is where arrangement comes in. Oh, there we go. Okay. Kind of took long to get there. I would have liked something, some kind of effect, like a whoosh, or a little percussion, like something in the background to keep the interest, right? I had a teacher in college who said, if you don't change something every 10 seconds in a song, the viewers lose interest. The listeners lose interest. And he wasn't speaking in terms of like any modern music. Like he's an old school dude from like playing since like the 50s. And he is the kind of, his advice was, if you don't change something every 10 seconds, people get bored. And so, yeah, when we have this going on, we're just here for 40 seconds, right? And it's cool that this comes in at like the 40-second mark, but something should have come in earlier. Cool, that's good stuff. Next up is Merits. Okay, this is cool. You've got cool vibes here. You've got cool like songwriting. And I like this chord progression. I really like this descending line of like this kind of thing. Like that's awesome. But you've got to make sure your melody's following it too. So when you're playing like like it needs to be in line with the chord progression. So when you're playing an E minor chord, that E minor pentatonic stuff is great, the pentatonic line. But when you're playing this next chord, which is like it's like a B7 over E flat or over D sharp, you want to be using notes from that chord. So you could go something more like... You know, you want to use the chord tones of each note as you're going. But that's sick. That's cool. I think maybe on the mixing level, you could spend a bit of time arranging those parts a little more strongly. Hey, good stuff, Salamandori. Keep going. Keep at it. Sounding great. Awesome job, Merits. That is really cool. I just think spend some time. You wrote such a cool chord progression, and your melody should support it. You know? Next up, we have Dillerimane with Fairness Remake 2. Kind of came out of nowhere, that loudness, right? You want to telegraph that with a riser, a reverse hit or something. You really want to avoid jump scaring your listeners, basically, what it comes down to. Did Dillerimane have one earlier? I thought so, but I couldn't find it in the list. Oh, the Roses remix. You like putting a lot of things in songs. Again, it's sounding sick. I think it's maybe a little dark. EQ-wise, I think it could be brighter sounding, but that was pretty cool. Next up is Deuter Mega 3. I like that triplet hit. This is cool. Is this like the ghost voice from Tell? This is cool. Comes down to mixing for me on this one. Oh, I love that chord change. Ba-da-da. Great chord progression here. Yeah, so when you've got a dense arrangement like this, and the things you've written are awesome here, you're working with what sounds like some Undertale sound fonts, right? There's some really, really cool stuff in there. I love the sounds you've put together. They are not agreeing with each other in the mix, and you've got to do extra work when you have that much going on to really make sure everything is in its right place. But from a like songwriting and arrangement perspective, that was sick. Next up, Spoogle with Tankman.mp3. What do we got here? Yo! Okay, yeah. You're nailing the Tankman Week sound. Sick. Right when I was hoping something would change, it did. That's it. That's great. Yeah. I love that amble hit. It reminds me of the Bastion soundtrack. Yeah, this bangs. This is great. Is this out somewhere? It says versus Newgrounds month. Tanky. Sick. Yeah, I love Darren Corp's work so much, man. Sick. I'm gonna let it finish out because there's only 2 seconds left. Yes. So good. So good stuff. Very good. Next up is the Mind Former. That was so sick, Spoogle. Awesome work. Something more futuristic. This is very nice. Yeah. I'd love to hear more of the bass. But this might be a style thing. I'm not sure. Yeah, I like this a lot. Sick. That was great. Like I said, it feels kind of like beautiful highs, beautiful high mids with those chords, and then your low mids are filled in by the bass. But then there's something down here. I'd love to hear just a little more kick and a little more fullness from the bass, you know? But that was awesome. That was sick. We got Wave next with Fight or Flight Full. It's a WAV file. It's going to take forever to download. Damn it, WAV. It's right in the name. Is this that Starved song? Or is it unrelated and just has the same name? Where are we going? I like that you built tension by adding those higher horns. So those drums have been at the same intensity level now for a minute, right? I'd love to hear, I'd love to feel some change there. Some contrast. I would really sit down and like listen to some movie soundtracks, like some Hans Zimmer stuff, some John Williams. If you want to err on the more modern side, you could do the Hans Zimmer, Alan Silvestri, and really get a sense of how tracks are structured with this. Because those drums are so sick, those boom, 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 boom. But it needs to go somewhere. It needs to have purpose. If they're just chugging along at that intensity level, it loses its meaning after a while, you know? But that was sick. Really, really cool, like, atmosphere and everything in that. Awesome job, Wave. Next up is Black Sword with Corn Dogs. Keep losing my place in this. There we go. Ooh, nice piano. I like it. Beautiful. Yeah. What's up, Cicero? That synth might be a little loud. That lead one. But this is cool. Kind of blowing everything else away, you know? Cool. You're arranging really cool stuff. You're writing really cool chord progressions. Your sound design is so solid. Yeah, that lead is pretty mono. I would either like spread it out a little bit with like a detune in the synth itself, or you could throw some like ping pong echo on it and bounce it back and forth to just give it a little more space. Right now, it feels very like one dimensional and right in front of you, while you got this big beautiful track behind it. I also think it was a little loud, and I feel like maybe you could spend some time thinking about the structure and the intensity level you're going through over the course of the song. That's kind of the recurring theme here. Next up, we have Paytronis with the finale showstopper. So yeah, people are asking like, how can I submit songs and everything? Hop into the Discord and just wait for me to announce the next one, and then throw your song in there. Submissions are closed for this month, as the pinned message says. I always pin things, and no one reads the pins. Ever. Literally ever. Here's our next one. Ooh, there's the guitars. Love this. When that melody's in, I feel like it's not as upfront. Well, I feel like it's something weird mixing wise with the melody. It's taking up space in a weird way. This is sick though. Okay, Tara, then you wait till you can. This is sick. Yeah, I mean, this is just subtle mixing things from there. That sounds great, Paytronis. Awesome work. Next up, we have Teles with Ignite Replay. Vocals are kind of loud, kind of drown out the instrumental. I like what I can hear of the instrumental, but it's back there. So many notes, man. Ooh, we got a melody here. See, here's the thing. When this is going on, no one's ever going to remember how any of this goes, you know? When it's just two people going like nonstop, you gotta wonder, like, is there meaning in this song right now? Will anyone ever remember this melody? Whereas you get to this next section, that's cool. This is memorable, you know? And that's not directly about you, Teles. That's like a broader thing in Friday Night Funkin' that I'm just like, that kind of gets to me. Ooh. This is cool. Yeah, so something, Ardoff said could have a bigger climax. In general, you want to think about moments of intensity and of tension and release. So thinking about when this hits, when it comes in, it should feel louder when the band comes in. Take a listen. Kind of feels exactly the same volume, and I think that might be a mixing thing. It might be because the vocals are so far forward and they stay exactly the same. So as hard as the instrumental tries, it's not going to be able to push the song louder. You know, it's you want the instrumental to be in control of the volume of the song. If your vocals are loud enough that your instrumental can't really do anything about how loud the song is, you're not going to be able to have as much dynamics in your song. Dynamics being the like movement from loud to soft. That was sick though, Teles. Good job. Dangan, Rose Song. I don't know. Yeah. Wish I could hear the vocals a little better in this one, actually. Ardoff, I'll throw yours on next. Yeah, this is sick. This sounds great. I think the Among Us character's voice is like inherently hard to hear in a mix. I think you may have to do some stuff. Sometimes I will put effects on a vocal to make it more audible. I'll like put a bit of distortion on there, or really EQ the highs up and really push them to make them more audible in a mix, because right now it's hard to hear it, you know? And then Boyfriend, I think, could just be a little louder overall. But that's sick. Awesome song, awesome arrangement, awesome mixing overall. Dangan, great work. Next up is ST. Oh, no. Next up is Ardoff. I'm going to sneak you in one more time. I love those pianos. Ooh. This is sick. Okay, I want to talk about something that happens at the beginning here. This is amazing. This sounds great, Ardoff. Yeah, you're playing with a bunch of time signatures. So much cool stuff. I want to listen to this one more time really closely to see if you did one of my favorite things. Yeah, so there's a concept, and you do it a lot more here later, called metric modulation, which is where you take what was the beat in one section and turn it into a different type of beat later. So you could do like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, but then you move to 12/8. So right now we're in 4/4, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then you move to 12/8 and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. So the pulse stayed the same, but now it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2. There's so much cool stuff. You look into metric modulation. It's like one of my favorite sounds ever. That sounds sick, Ardoff. Awesome, crazy, bizarre work. I love it. Next up is STA with Gladys. Oh, hey, STA. Good vibe. I think this would benefit from a little bit of side chaining to the kick. Just helps it make the sound heavier. I hate when this program crashes. Hopping back in. Hang on.
I am the cut character from Versus Flexi version 3.
What? Were we both on Flexi? This sounds so sick. I think you should sidechain more stuff to the kick. Sounds awesome. This is great. Only thing I'm going to gripe on here. So your background is straight right now and your melody is swung. The background's going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. While your melody's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. If you're going to swing, everybody's got to swing. This sounds so sick though. Yeah, that's awesome. That's good stuff. Good stuff, SDA. Next up is Cybel, or Cybel, with Goal Reacher, which has some updated vocals. Hey, later, Ardoff. Got a bass. Everyone's just kind of singing the bass line so far. It's okay. Does it go anywhere else? I'd love to hear some more harmony in here, right? Some more interaction between different parts that creates a chord progression. Oh, there we go. We got some movement here. Yeah, you've got cool stuff here. You got cool stuff here, Cybel. Like, there's no... I don't have any huge complaints. Mixing sounds solid, too. Like, obviously, everyone can always work on it. But there wasn't anything I was, like, struggling to hear in that. I do think anytime vocals and melody are, like, or vocals and bass are locked like that, it's a little limiting for me. I'm not always into it. Next up is Lavender Tea with Echoes, the Erect remix. Boy, look at all that bass. Not crazy about that high melody synth. Ooh. Compositionally, this is sick. I just think that melody is living right in the same range as the leads. This is cool. I think you'd benefit from like some mid-range pads in the background, like synths playing chords in the background, and less leads up here fighting with the melody, you know? It's sick though. Compositionally, this is solid. I love this section. Yeah. I love the low passes, like kind of taking away the tension and bring it back. That's sick. That sounds great. Great, Lavender. Awesome work. Next up is Crystal with Acrimonious. that bass up. This one isn't doing it for me, but I never like these kind of vocals. On the instrumental, the instrumental has some solid points. I think you'd benefit from panning some stuff out a little more. Feels like everything's kind of centered. And it's so hard to like hear past the vocals. I'm sorry. I'm just like not into Dave and Bambi vocals. But I like that riff. That's cool. In regard to your comment about if one thing swings, everybody's got to swing, can drums be an exception to that rule? Absolutely not. Everything has to swing. Otherwise, you end up with this like very slight misalignment in the offbeats of your music, right? So your downbeats are solid, like 1, 2, 3, 4. But then one instrument's going to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the other one's going to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? So now they're disagreeing on that. It's like 1, like those in-between notes become a messy mess. So everybody's got to swing. Mr. Musical, Rays of Light. Yeah. Vocals are a little active for like this early in a song for me. But I like this counterpoint between them. This is nice. Good drum programming. Good like effects swooshing in from section to section. Yeah. Just hop around a little bit. We got a key change at the end. That's cool. Everything feels like it's kind of at the same intensity level. I'd love to hear more contrast in between parts. Things can drop down. Things can come back up. Sections can start on different chords. I'm hearing again every section starting on... Every chord progression starting on this A minor means we're always starting from the same point. You want to be able to approach a song from different angles, so you want to start your chord progressions in different places. Next up is Unknown 634 with a remix of the instrumental for Ectospasm. Hey, later, Tercero. We got a riff here. Where are we going? Okay, that was the point where I wanted it to change, or it was like far too long. This is cool. Little flute melody. It's getting kind of lost in there. Not quite bright enough to stand out over stuff, right? I like the arrangement you have. It's really solid. I think you could just spend time thinking about those sections and moving between them and like creating meaningful differences in there. Hey, what's up, Wave? Yeah, we checked out your song earlier. Sounded good. Sounding good, Unknown. It's good stuff. Keep at it. Keep working with the mixing, especially to really fill out and brighten up that space. Next up is Egg with, oh dear, microtonal drum and bass. I'm terrified. What's going to happen? Microtonal music is hard to anything. So for more information, microtonal means we're not just limited to the 12 notes of the scale. There's like stuff in between. Yeah. You gotta really know what you're doing to make microtonal stuff. I'm not sure this does it in a useful and meaningful way. Yeah, I would look to like some actual like high tier microtonal music and look at what they're doing harmonically. Like what microtonal scale are you working with? Was that like 14 tet or 16 tet? Like what are you doing? And then look to how other composers have used that harmony in an effective way. Because right now that just kind of felt like being microtonal for the sake of being microtonal, whereas you could actually take the time and go look at how composers use microtonality in an actual piece. Next is Obama Cat with Fractural version 1. Having trouble telling where the beat is. Are there drums in this? There should be something keeping the time for us right now. Because that sidechain chord doesn't tell us where the beat is. It just tells us where it isn't, you know? That's our only rhythmic like reference. That's our only timekeeper in here going and that's not a strong beat. You got some cool sound design stuff in here. I think it needs drums. You've got cool composition in here, Fractural. I'm just having trouble telling where the beat is. Or sorry, Obama Cat. And I just feel like it could use something stronger as a rhythmic like framework for this. Next up is Charles with Malfunction version 2.5. So this is something that feels like everything feels very monolithic in that it's all one thing. The bass goes somewhere, the melody goes there too. Everything's moving together and there's not a lot of working together to create something bigger than those instruments. I would spend some time listening to like do you hear how everything, like the bass, the melody, every instrument is playing the same thing all together? And that's cool. You're starting to think about orchestration. You're starting to think about how pieces fit together. And you want to now take the time to really like work on building things bigger with those smaller pieces. But sounding cool, Charles. Good stuff. Next up is Lazy in Blue with Lazy Vania. cool. Rides are coming. There it is. Want to hear more of those drums. Everything's so far back. And the intensity, everything's up front all the time. I think we got a balanced situation here. I can't really hear your guitars, your bass. I can kind of hear your drums, but I would love to hear more of the guitars. I think you could figure out how to get a double-tracked effect out of your guitars, whether it's putting a chorus on them or duplicating the track and then using a different sound for one than the other. But you want two slightly different guitar sounds playing the same thing, panned hard left and right. It'll help get your guitar out of the center where your melody is, where your drums is, where your drums are, where your bass is. You want your guitars separated from all those, so you have the same guitar playing you have two different guitars playing the same parts, panned hard left and right. If you watch my How to Make Metal stream, I talk a lot about that, using fake guitars, not real ones. This sounds cool. It just feels like crowded and muddy. And I think it's mostly a mix thing, but maybe a little bit an arrangement thing. But that is sick. Awesome composition on that, Lazy and Blue. Sounding really cool. Next up is Vibre Productions, Vibre. I don't know how to say that. With Bit Disco. I want to hear this. What's up, Power Fresh? Yo, what? Funky. This is so sick. Okay, so the only thing I would say to this, because this is sick, this sounds amazing, and this is more like a general guideline for future stuff, not even something you need to change on this one. When you have a weird rhythm, you have that bump 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 ba da ba 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 ba, that triplet. If one instrument does something weird, it can sound a little out of place. If everyone agrees on that weird thing, and this goes back to my, like, if one person's swinging, everyone's got to swing. If one instrument is playing, and this is kind of a swing feel here with that triplet. If one instrument is doing that, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba, then I think something else should be reinforcing that, probably in the drums. You want to make sure if you've got a hi-hat there, if you've got a snare there, it's on that triplet with it instead of like sneaking in between. To really convince the listener that, like, no, I meant to do that. That's on purpose. There's a saying among jazz musicians that once is a mistake, twice is a choice. That, like, if you play a wrong note once in a solo, it's going to sound out of place. But if you play that wrong note like 3 more times, jazz guys are going to be like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. They're playing some weird stuff there. I like that. Like, if you're going to do something weird or off key or off time, commit to it with the whole song, you know? That sounds sick, though. Next up is MMUU Moo. How do I say your name? With Dumbassery versus Galaxy Dump. That fade in with vocals? That's cool. I've never heard that before. This is sick. I like this. I'd love to hear more, like, space in the vocals, but this is really sick. On some of those faster notes, I'm hearing some disagreement between the swing and the straight feel, but it's not terrible. This is sick. Okay, I love the composition. I love the arrangement and the instrument choices. The mixing is solid. Everything's great. I think the only thing I would do more of, if you listen to that Ardoff track earlier, do you notice, and this is something I do a lot, you notice how the drums drop out? My voice cracked. The drums drop out at the end of a section to like, it's like the floor disappearing out from under you and you're floating for a second and then, oh my God, and then they kick back in at the start of the next section, which helps really strengthen the impact of that section. I notice so often people making songs where the intensity level is just straight through all the way, but you want some like dips and then climbs, and you want a roller coaster, you know? So take a listen to how, especially like electronic producers, change sections in their songs and how they build anticipation for those changes, and then start applying those concepts in your own songs. Next up, we got Dirt Slabs with Grieving Wanderer. Lunatic submitted this because apparently Dirt Slabs was having some trouble submitting it. Like 8-bit vibes in here. This is cool. I like this. I think it might just be mixing stuff. Like, depending on what you're doing 8-bit wise, how close you're trying to stay to what's realistically producible on the original hardware. But I would love to hear more of this panned out from the center. It's all very, very centered right now. I'd love some more space in it. Great composition, though. Sounding awesome. Awesome work on that, Dirt Slabs. Very good stuff. Next up, we got Poppin' Kenny. With what I'm guessing is Bad Influence, or 3 add 1 influence. Love that diminished 8-bit chord. What? It's in 3/4, but man, it does not feel like it. That is sick. Again, this is sick. It's all in the center. It's dead center. I want width here. I want space. I got 2 headphones. I got 2 ears. I want to use them both. This is sick, though. I like it. There's like a jazzy swing in there. This is sick. I like it. I like it a lot. Good stuff, Poppin' Kenny. That sounds sick. I would just like work on panning some stuff out from the center. Next up is Yeet with Alt-tabbed. Cool chord progression. Where's it going? Like it. I would have loved to hear that change telegraphed a little bit. A whoosh or something, or a drum fill. You rarely want everything to come in at once. This is cool. I wish there was some space in the vocals. It's all just kind of non-stop, you know? You're doing a good job of following your chord progression with the melody. I like that. I like your drums. Drum fills are sick. Sounding great. Yeah, instrumentation solid. Like everything's great. I think everything's kind of like always on all the time. Ba, 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 ba. That chord progression just holding nonstop. It gets to be a little fatiguing to the ears a little bit, you know? Next up we have, I don't know what this person's real name is, but on the server, they are Shrimp Gooblier with Funky Donkey. And I believe this is going for like Wolfpack vibes, if I remember their message. Let's check it out. Shrimp Gooblier, I'm sorry. I mean, this is great, funky rock stuff. I will say no part of this suggests Wolfpack to me in any way, but I like it. And if you took influence from them in some way, that's awesome. I like this a lot. Yeah, I like it. I like it. It's cool. I want to see where the rest of it goes. I want a full song from that. Good stuff. Good stuff, Shimp Gooblier. So, awesome job, everyone who submitted for this. I am going to open up another one for, I'm going to say the end of the month. That is going to open on Monday. I'm going to open that, the 16th. And then on the, I think the 1st, we'll stream, either the 1st or the 31st, we'll stream the next feedback one. I don't think I can get to every single submission like I did this time, because as we can see, this was literally like 6-7 hours of streaming, which is a lot. But I will find some good way to make it equitable for everyone as much as possible. I'll talk it over with the mods, talk it over with y'all in the Discord. We'll figure something out. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted. Adonis, you sent a... Okay, then hang on. Did anyone else submit a song and not get in? Yeah, I missed you. I'm also going to reprogram Songbot because he's being an idiot. All right, we're going to check out any ones I missed now. Here's Adonis with Oof. Sick chords. Yeah, this is great. Oh, the credits aren't on screen. I'm sorry. The only thing I could say, those strings, that bum, bum, I think they could maybe be brighter to... You want to make sure the meaningful part of an instrument is coming through the mix. The thing that you want that instrument to say in your song is coming through, and basically nothing else. Because the low end of those strings is taking up space that your guitars and you know, whatever melody you're putting in front of this needs to take up, right? Did anyone else? Did I miss anyone else? RJ, I think we got you earlier. What song am I planning for the next song contest? Okay, yeah. I'm going to post a video in about an hour or two announcing the next song contest once I've collected all the files and stuff. Next song contest is going to be Intruder, and we're going to have the rest of January and like half of February to do it, just because I'm getting such a late start. So y'all have like a little more than a month to make an Intruder remix or cover. That'll be fun. I know like the tracks are already out for that and stuff under the How I Made Intruder stream, but I want to do a song contest for it. I think it'd be fun. I think everyone would learn a lot from working with these tracks. I think it'd be really good. Cool. Awesome stuff. I am going to wrap it up there. I'm going to announce the next song feedback stream in Silver. Where? Are you Silver on Discord? Oh yeah, you were literally the last one of the last submissions. How'd you not make the list? Okay, let's check it out. I don't know what's going on with Songbot. He did not do his job. One more. This is Silver with Black Fate. Some 8-bit vibes. Is it based off of Poke Pasta? Cool. I like this. I'd love to hear more stuff in the low mid-range. A bass. Like, I can kind of hear a bass back there, but I'd really love something a little stronger in there, right? LP, thank you so much for the donation. Can songs be posted to you without it being on stream because they're closed? If you are a member, ping me in the VIP general, and I'll set it up so you can... like, do you want it to be private? Because there's a VIP track feedback thing we could do. We'll figure that out. I think this needs guitars or something with, like, harmonic stuff going on in that low range. This is one of those mixes where it's kind of top heavy and like high mid heavy, and then there's not enough going on down here. I want to feel that bass kicking me. Yeah, this is like a messed up halo. I love it. Your melody's great. I love what you're doing orchestrally in the background. Yeah, your melodies are solid. Mixing overall is good. I think it just needs like more punch. And I think that would be well served by a solid bass. Cool. Awesome stuff by everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. Oh, thank you. Thank you again, LP. We are going to wrap it up there. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you real soon. I'll be posting that Intruder song contest video in just a couple hours, like I said. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'll see y'all later. Have a great day. Amazing job to everyone who submitted. Bye-bye.